A very good evening, students. Very good evening, everyone. So, I welcome you, each one of you, to my class on the Indian Penal Code 1860. Let's start with my brief introduction first. My name is Sandeep Khatri. These are my areas of specialization, as you can see on the screen. Here is the link of my profile of Unacademy, so make sure you follow that to get all the updates and updates about my special classes and my plus courses. Here is the link of my Telegram channel where you can connect with me and ask your questions and queries. This is my code, that is Khatri10, which you can use to get free access of all the special classes available on Unacademy app. So this was about me. Now I request everyone, please be attentive. This is going to be a very important topic, a discussion on section 299 and section 300. So what is culpable homicide and what is murder? So I request everyone, please be attentive for this particular concept. And this is going to be interactive session. So you may post your questions, your queries in relation to this topic. And if anything I'm explaining and you are not clear with that point, feel free to ask your questions in the comments and I'll answer accordingly. Now, before starting the class, I have some important announcement that if you are facing any problems while studying all the 9 special laws, so you can refer my classes in the special classes. I have already covered the explanation part and the MCQ part of all these 9 acts, and that is available in my special class, which means it is completely free of cost. Okay, so you can do all these acts from there. Now, coming to today's class, we are going to discuss the concept of section 299 and section 300. So first I'll start with the basic introduction of these sections. After introduction, I will jump to section 299 and then I will compare all the essentials of section 299 with section 300. So this is what I am going to cover today. Very good evening, Vandana. Advocate Vivek Tiwari, very good evening. वंदना अनअकैडमी पे हिंदी स्पेसिफिक के लिए भी एजुकेटर्स अवेलेबल हैं, ओके, जिसमें आपकी कंप्लीट, अगर आप हिंदी मीडियम से बिलोंग करते हैं और हिंदी मीडियम से ही आप आंसर लिखना चाहते हैं तो उसके लिए भी एजुकेटर्स अवेलेबल हैं, ओके जी. वेरी गुड इवनिंग मोनिका and everyone, those of you who have just joined. Okay, so let's start with the brief introduction of this course, a brief introduction of this topic, that is section 299 and section 300. Now listen carefully, students. IPC, the meaning of IPC says that it is nothing but states offenses and their punishment. And when we go into the details of that term offense, we figure it out that when it comes to offenses, that offense may be against the human body, offense in relation to the property, offense in relation to marriage, offense relating to documents, offense relating to elections or religion, and so on. So in short, there are many classifications. So one of the classification of offenses is offenses against human body. And there comes the very first examples are culpable homicide, murder, hurt, grievous hurt, acid attack, wrongful restraint, wrongful confinement, kidnapping, abduction, rape, unnatural offenses. These are all the examples of offenses against human body. Now, even in this chapter of offenses against human body, that is chapter number 16, one of the most important chapter, the most important, or you can say the most grave offenses which you can think of is culpable homicide and section 300. Now, why they are the gravest in the form? Because in both these, either it is a case of culpable homicide or it is a case of murder, there is something that is death has taken place. That is why they are considered as the most grave offenses. So this was the very basic introduction of from where it comes the concept of section 299 and section 300. Now going into the details of this topic. Section 299 deals with culpable homicide, and section 300 deals with the offense of murder. Now, first thing, what is this culpable homicide? So, culpable means criminal, and homicide means killing of a human being by another human being. So, if a person kills someone, that can be a case of culpable homicide. Now, going into the details, culpable homicide and murders can also be known as culpable homicide does not amounts to murder. This is just the another name of culpable homicide. And when it comes to the offense of murder, culpable homicide amounts to murder. This is the another term for murder. Section 304 deals with the punishment part of culpable homicide. Section 302 deals with the punishment for murder. Usually students get confused with these terms also. That is, what is culpable homicide does not amounts to murder. That is culpable homicide only. And what is culpable homicide amounts to murder? That is murder only. The examiner may use the term culpable homicide or murder. The examiner may use the term culpable homicide does not amounts to murder. Culpable homicide amounts to murder. And usually you get confused in the terms only. So culpable homicide does not amounts to murder. Basically the question is about section 299. Culpable homicide amounts to murder. The question is about section number 300. Any questions from this particular chart? Anyone? Now, going forward, the very first thing which you should know about this concept of culpable homicide and murder is that two essentials need to be fulfilled. And the very first one is cause. And the second one is death. Now, if there is no cause, if there is no death, that cannot be a case of culpable homicide. And if a case cannot be a case of culpable homicide, there is no chance that it is of a murder. All murders are culpable homicide. But all murders are culpable homicide. But all culpable homicides are not murders. I'm repeating myself. All murders are culpable homicide. There cannot be a case of murder without fulfilling the essentials of culpable homicide. But when it comes to culpable homicide, that may be a case of murder or not. That is why we used these terms culpable homicide amounts to murder or culpable homicide does not amounts to murder. Now coming to this concept, what is this cause and what is this death? So let's take in some examples of this term cause. What is this cause? This is one of the most important term of section 299. So there is a person, Mr. A, who died due to heart attack. Now who caused the death of Mr. A? The answer is the heart attack. So in that case, can anyone be held liable? Answer is no. But now let's take another example. If Mr. X shoot Mr. A with his gun and Mr. A died, now who caused the death of Mr. A? And the answer is Mr. X here. And if Mr. X caused the death of Mr. A, Mr. X is going to be the accused here. So causation is very, 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 very important. Even when you look at section 299, the explanation 1 and explanation 2 of section 299 is dealing with this term only. If our case falls under explanation 1 or explanation 2, that is not the case of culpable homicide or murder. That is just explanation 1 and explanation 2 is just concluding the concept that this particular person caused the death. Rest, it may fall under the case of culpable homicide, it may fall under in the case of murder. But just because it is a case of explanation 1 or explanation 2, it does not conclude that it is definitely a case of culpable homicide. Now, going forward, what is your explanation 1 and explanation 2? Now, let's take some another examples here. When we say that there is a Mr. A who has just give a punch on the head of Mr. B, and Mr. B was suffering from a brain tumor, and because of that one single punch the pain accelerates and Mr. B died. Now Mr. B died because of the brain tumor, first option, or Mr. B died because of Mr. A. Answer of this question lies in explanation 1, and it concludes that it is Mr. A only who caused the death of Mr. B. That is basically your explanation 1. Now coming to explanation 2. If suppose B got a doctor on an appropriate time, then his life may be saved. But no one took him to the hospital. And because of that, Mr. B died. In that circumstances also, now B died because no one took him to the hospital, or Mr. A caused the death of Mr. B. So explanation number 2 concludes this concept that it is Mr. A only, who has caused the death of B. So both your explanation 1 and explanation 2 of section 299 are related with the concept of cause. And if there is a natural death, no one will get the punishment. And if any person has caused the death of another person, that person will be liable for punishment, either for culpable homicide or murder. That we need to figure out as per to the other important facts of the case. Now coming to the second term, the death. Now the thing is, if there is no death, then it may be attempt to murder or attempt to culpable homicide, or it may be a case of grievous hurt. But if there is no death, then it cannot be a case of culpable homicide. And if cannot be a case of culpable homicide, forget about the case of murder. Why? Because all murders are culpable homicide. So death is again one of the most important essential for the concept of culpable homicide and murder. When I use this term death, this has also been defined, students, and that is section number 46. And death here means death of a human being, not of any animal. So these are the first two important concepts which you must be clear with to understand the concept of section 299 and section 300. Now going forward, sorry. Now going forward, you can divide the complete section 299 into three parts. The first part is intention to cause death. Now, I have just explained you what is the concept of cause, what is the concept of death. Now, what is this intention here? Intention means the desire of the mind. So, if there is intention to cause someone's death, that will fall under section 299(1). And if a case falls under intention to cause death, that will automatically go into section 300 firstly, which means there is no difference between 299(1) and 300 first. If you go with the reading of the Bail Act as well, there is no such difference of intention of section 299 clause 1. Not clause 1, 299 is basically in a para form, but to understand this concept of section 299, we usually divide it into three parts. So there is no such difference of this part of section 299 and 300 firstly. So that is why this will automatically go under the case of murder. And that is why we say all murders are culpable homicide. And suppose if that is not a case of culpable homicide, that can never be a case of murder. Now let's understand this whole concept, the very first concept, with the help of an illustration. So if suppose Mr. A shoot Mr. B on his head and B died, so that shows that A had intention to cause death of B, and that is why this whole case will fall under murder only. Now coming to the next one. Section 299 clause 2. What does section 299 clause 2 says? So section 299 clause says, if someone has the intention to cause such bodily injury which is likely to cause death, if that is the case, the person will get the punishment of culpable homicide. And what if there is a knowledge which is likely to cause death? Then in that case also it is going to be a case of culpable homicide. So if there is a case of section 299 clause 2, you will get punishment under section 304. That is of culpable homicide. Similarly, for section 299 clause 3, the punishment is going to be of culpable homicide. 304. Now what is the difference between 2 and 3? Let's understand this whole concept with the help of some examples. If a person, Mr. A, attack on Mr. B on his head with a stick for just one time, one blow of stick on his head, and the person died. So there was intention to cause such bodily injury which is likely to cause death, which means there was no sufficient cause. Then it will fall under the case of culpable homicide. Knowledge which is likely to cause death. So if someone has mixed rat poison in someone's food, okay, and that person died, that may fall under the case of culpable homicide. But if suppose there is a Chinese poison, that there is 100% surety that whosoever will inhale that poison, that person will die, that will fall under section 300 fourthly. And if there are sufficient cause, So suppose if there are 50 blows of lathi of a stick on B's head, which means there are sufficient reasons that the person will die. His case will fall under section 300 thirdly. And that will again be a case of murder only. So in this category, the case is of a murder, and on this hand, the case is of a culpable homicide. And these are the major differences. Now, anything which you are not clear with till now? Yes, please. Now, I'll give you a master chart. If you got any question or the facts of the case where you need to decide that it is a case of culpable homicide or murder, you can apply this chart. For any case to reach murder, that needs to be go through from culpable homicide. There are no such direct cases. You cannot go starting from the facts of a case directly to the case of murder. A case is going to be either a case of culpable homicide or not. If not, then there is no culpable homicide and there is no murder. But if yes, in that circumstances, it will fall under section 299 clause 1, section 299 clause 2, section 299 clause 3. In these two circumstances, the person will get the punishment of culpable homicide only. In this particular case, 299(1), that will fall under murder only. And if it falls under section 301, 302, 303 or section 304, all these cases are going to be of murder only. Exceptions of section 300s will also fall under culpable homicide. So these are the cases of culpable homicide. When culpable homicide amounts to murder, here are the examples. When culpable homicide does not amount to murder, here are the examples. Now, anything which you are not clear with from this chart. I'm concluding this again. So, whenever some facts come towards you, that whether this is a case of culpable homicide or not, first you will see whether this is a case of culpable homicide, yes or no. If it is not a case of culpable homicide, why? Because it does not fall under section 299, 1, 2 or 3. Then that is no culpable homicide and no murder. But if it falls under section 299(1), that will automatically go into the concept of murder. For section 299 clause 2 and clause 3, that will fall under the case of culpable homicide only. All the exceptions, there are total 5 exceptions of murder. Okay. In any of the circumstances, if any of the exceptions are there, the person will get the punishment of culpable homicide only. And in these five cases, 301, 2, 3, 4, or you can say 299, 1 or 301 is one only. In all these four circumstances, basically, not five, only four, then in that case, it is a case of murder. Now, anything which you are not clear with. One more thing, students, there can be circumstances when a single case falls under 301 also, 303 also, or 304 also. Any one clause of section 300 or more than one clause, that will still case of murder only. And in the case of 299 2 or 3, there may be a case which is of 299 2 and 299 3, that is still going to be constitute culpable homicide only. Good evening, Bindu and everyone, those of you who have just joined. Yes, please. Any questions in your mind in relation to this topic? These two are basically deals with bodily injury. This fourth one is on knowledge. And this very first is on intention. Usually there is a confusion, students, that even in the concept of intention, there is a difference. This is a myth, by the way, that there is a difference between intention of 299(1) and 301. The answer to this question is no. There is no such intention. Either a person is having the intention to kill someone or not. It's as simple as that. Both are same. That is why this will automatically fall under the case of murder. बिंदु MCQs आपके चल रहे हैं in my special class. You can follow that. I have already taken 3 to 4 tests in the last 1 week, and that will continue for the next one as well, the coming week as well. Okay, so वो हम कर रहे हैं in my special classes on Unacademy app. तो आप वो classes follow up कर सकती हैं. Usually that is off the timings are at 5 p.m. Okay, and that is on alternative days. So on Monday, on Wednesday, and on Friday, and sometimes on Sunday as well. Like tomorrow, I'm going to have a session on the current affairs where I'm going to discuss all the important questions from the January 2023, all the current affairs questions. Yes, now anything which you are not clear with from this part. So let's conclude this if it is clear. So students, this is the link of my profile and my Telegram channel and my code Khatri10. So let's crack PCSJ with Unacademy. We have an exciting announcement, that is there is an open AIB mock test All India Bar Exam 2023 जो कि आपका Feb 3rd 11 AM को हो चुका है. If you are preparing for UP or Chhattisgarh Judiciary, we have 3 full length mock tests for UP Judiciary and 5 full length mock tests for your Chhattisgarh Judiciary, and that is on a very minimum price, and you can again get 20% off if you can use my code, that is Khatri10. Similarly on the Chhattisgarh as well, and these are the full length mock test. It means when you are appearing for UP Judiciary Prelims mock test series, you will get 2 papers of 150 questions each, and in Chhattisgarh there is 100 marks questions, so you will get those 100 questions. So There is a batch starting from 16th of Feb, which is a duration is of 12 months. ठीक है जी. तो क्या जज बनना है आपका सपना? तो you can join this batch, and these are the educators. सफलता 4.0 comprehensive batch is the name of the batch. ये आपका Feb 16 से start हो रहा है. There is a rapid revision for Uttarakhand Judiciary as the date of examination is already out. Students, Unacademy has already launched their judiciary notes as well. So these are the key features: the subjective theory, quick view charts, landmark judgments, recent and relevant cases, legal maxims. All you will find in those judiciary notes. There is a mains test series for Punjab Judiciary is also going on, in which you will get all these 3 full length tests for mains exam plus their model answers as well. So that's it from my end. See you in my next class. Till then, yes, it's time to say peace.